Hello and welcome back. I thought we'd have this elevated view just to have a quick look at what's been going on with the railway. You can see the progress that's been going on down there. I've got linked up with the girder bridge and across the rails again, and we're linked up with another girder bridge. So this track here is just stood in place at the moment, but from this girder bridge that way, all of that track is now sort of set up in a sort of semi-permanent manner, and this is still to develop over here. So that's all I don't want to focus on my finger. It's all sort of needs adjustment and sort of getting into working condition, but we should be able to get this to move. So we'll give that a little bit of power. Now we'll just get that to stop there at the station, and then we'll give that a little bit more power and we'll bring that back again. And we'll stop it there. Let's just have a closer look and put the controls down now. I think we'll finish with those and we'll get off here in a second. So if I just move a little bit further over here, there's a little bit of a drop off in power there, so those clips aren't as good. Fish plates or power, the continuity here isn't sorted out properly. I have got a rail brake in here, so that's going to serve part of the return loop. So I've just got that bridged quite loosely at the moment. That could also be contributing to the poor continuity in this section, but the fish plates haven't been worked up properly yet. So this is just all standing in just to get an idea of where the supports are going to go. So obviously I haven't got the tops on the bridges yet because I'm still working with the track. But I realise this probably sounds very echoey up here, standing in the corner of the room. If I sort of step back a little bit here, try not to step on anything, we'll just have a look at that. So I think I took some sidewalls out since we last saw it. Let's just have a look in here. So I think I had some more sidewalls there which are sitting on the deck there at the moment. So they'll all go back in, but I've got to run a little bit of wiring there to run with the point work to get some functionality with the return loop. So I think we'll jump down. I've got a Silver King and some coaches down there on the bench. We'll just have a quick look over those. We'll just have a swift look over these models and we'll get them on the rails and try and keep things relatively short. I've had this model for quite some time, not really run it since the early part of the lockdown when I serviced all of the existing Dublo items that I had on a little circular track, so I'm not expecting too many problems from it. So we'll give it a light oil, clean the wheels up, and we'll get that on the rails. It's not a perfect model, it's definitely had a bit of a life. There's some scuffing there right through the paint into the alloy. I think there's quite a chip out of the roof there as well, sort of a scuff through it. Let's turn that around. But it's a fairly lovely thing. It does have the little drop link on the front, which is sort of currently hiding. There we go. It's bent out of position at the moment, so we'll adjust that when we get that on the rails. But it doesn't have a horseshoe magnet. It has the later sort there we can see. So we'll get that sorted in a moment. So let's have a quick look at the tender. Actually, no. Let's have a quick look at the box. So lovely box with an image on the front there. The top covering seems to have come away from the card underneath. We've got EDL11 locomotive BR Silver King 12-volt electric. So a fair amount of wear on there. Looks like it's been significantly damp at some point. Let's pop that down. Now the tender, I believe it's the correct tender, but we'll have a look at the box in a moment. But the box is I think is a box for the Duchess of Montrose. I think the tender should be for that, but that's the box it came to me in. So as a market stall purchase. Again, similar condition to the locomotive. It's definitely been handled. It's definitely had a little bit of track time. This plastic part has got a slight warp in it, but I've seen some with much greater warping than that. But the wheels all run relatively smooth and so on. So we've got that nice sort of Hornby sticker there between the two sort of bogies. So we'll pop that down. Let's have a glance at the box. So we'll have a look at the catalogue in a moment, but I think that is the box for the tender from the Duchess of Montrose. So, of course, my Duchess of Montrose is unboxed, came to me as an unboxed item. So there we've got these lovely coaches. So I think the colour of these is absolutely gorgeous. And again, this printed or reflective window detail rather than the windows being punched out with acetate behind them, I think is really quite lovely. I know it's not terribly accurate, but I think it's just a great thing. I think that will be the brake. Let's have a look at the end of the box here. So what have we got there? So D11 corridor coach, BR brake third, Eastern region, gauge 00. So again, boxes are not too bad a condition. They don't look to have been damp like the box for the locomotive. Again, that didn't. The coaches came at a later date from the local model railway shop. Sadly, now closed. Rolling stock was the name of that. And here we've got the other. We've got the coach. So again, similar condition. The two coaches came as a pair. I do have a third one. We'll have a glance at that in a moment. So these have been fairly well looked after by the looks of it. Make a lovely rattle. We've got Hornby, made in England, Meccano Limited, Liverpool, on the bottom there. Again, these have seen very little track time, if any, I imagine. So let's just pop that down and have a quick glance at the box there. Again, D11 corridor coach, first, third. So so a little bit of marking here and there, but there's a little bit of silica gel in there rolling around. That's what we can hear. So we'll pop that down. Now the third coach I do have, which we're not going to run today. Again, I've had this a long time. It came from our local model railway shop. It was passed on to me at a very reasonable rate for a really good reason. When I got it, it did have quite a lot of paint all over it, some of which I've removed. You can see some scraping on the sides of it here. Removed it quite successfully, but it got rather difficult. There was paint all over the bottom of it. And I think the spill must have happened relatively shortly before the coach was passed on to me, because the paint on the sides came away. The shiny surface of the tinplate has gone, but we've managed to save there. But the wheels were all stuck together. I've done quite a bit of work on it, but I don't think I'm going to have the time to get this sorted. I think really I've got to drop the wheels, the wheel hangers out, and get the wheels out and give it a good going over before that's really going to run. But again, I've had this for years and never really got around to it. But it would be nice to get that sorted. Maybe once we've got the elevated track sorted out, I'll have time to sort of dismantle this and get this one back into a condition where it runs, because there's simply just too much paint, and I think it's really affecting also the way that the axles are running. And I'm not 100%, get the words out, 100% convinced that this wheel looks like somebody may have reattached it at some point, so there might be a problem with gauging on that one. It looks like something's been stuck on there, or maybe that is just the effects of the paint. I don't know. That needs a further investigation, I think. I don't know whether we're holding focus there. So let's pop that down. I want to have a quick look over this pamphlet. So I'm not sure whether we've seen this before, so I'm not sure the exact date of these models, but this pamphlet is dated 53-54, and there's a dealer name sitting on there. So it's quite a lovely thing, a little chap here with the controller and a whole bank of switches. I think that's quite nice. So let's see if we can open that out. And we'll have a look at the train sets here. So here we've got the Silver King, and it's sold as a set with two of these wonderful coaches, and that's EDP11. I'm struggling to string that group of letters and numbers together. Hornby Dublo, Silver King, passenger train set, BR. Are we getting focus on that? I'm looking down at the pamphlet and not looking at what's actually happening in the camera, sadly. But there's the Duchess above here, and we've got that train sitting on there with many more coaches, I think, at the moment. Let's just open that out one more. Have a look at some of these terrific items in here. So I think that's quite smart with that track striking right across the page there, separating the sort of accessories from the rolling stock. And that's quite a nice graphic device. So let's have a look here. So here we've got the Silver King, and the locomotive part is EDL11, and the tender is D11. So like Triang, they're selling items separately, the locomotive and tender separately, and that was the pricing there. We're going to hold focus on that. That was 59 and 6, and 8 and 9 for the tender. So yeah, quite lovely looking items on the page there. I believe initially these might have been in a glossy finish, but mine's in matte. So I think the glossy ones are earlier, so mine's probably getting on for the mid-50s if it's in matte, I imagine. I'm not sure of the dates there. So there we go, we've got the D11 coach there, we've got the brake, and then we've got the I get the words out, I'm struggling for words here, the coach first third, just to the right of it there. So I think we might as well have a look at the final section of this, I think. So we looked at that one. Let's have a look at the back cover there. So we've got some layouts, and we've got the track system. I think this is definitely well before their experiment with two-rail track. But I'll get that sort of cleaned up, and we'll get those on the rails, and we'll jump back to it on the railway. I thought we'd just have a quick look inside that body shell whilst we have the top off. You've got those lovely ties there that hold that handrail in. It's all fairly clean and tidy. I think it's had a relatively sheltered life. So I've got the locomotive, or the chassis, and the coaches on the rails over here. I'll give the coaches a bit of a clean. So we'll give give it a little bit of power. So let's see how that does. And then let's send that backwards. So it's quite a nice model to run. I think it's got a lot more power available than the Sir Nigel Gresley with this sort of upgraded magnet and pole pieces. So it's probably an evolution in design. So I'll have to get some more coaches to go with this, I think. So let's just run that down into the station. And I think what we'll do, we'll get the body shell on, and we'll jump the other side and have a bit of a charge around. So we've got the top back on the Silver King there. We'll give that a little power, and we'll just give that the once around perhaps. I'll see if I can follow this around without tripping over the cabling. It's definitely an energetic model. There's no shortage of power, completely different to the horseshoe magnet of the Sir Nigel Gresley. You can see why they changed it over. Must be a much more efficient motor. Let's just go for one more charge round there. I think we might put some lighting in under the elevated station. I think that's going to would be quite interesting. Let's just put in a nice gentle stop here at the station. There, that looks pretty good. So I think I'm just going to put these controls down. So I'm getting on quite well with these little Velcro pads there. I've positioned another couple of those around. Let's grab the controls for the 262 tank loco. So let's grab those, and let's just have a quick look at that moving while we're here. So if I give that a little power, let's just move it along the line. Now that's sitting roughly where we left it before. I have had a fiddle with it. Yeah, I think it's the fish plate beyond the bridge, when it leaves the bridge going backwards here, which is where I'm getting the problem with the slight lack of power there. So I think little bit of work on there, but all of that track's got to come out as I solve the problems with the piers of the elevated sections there. Let's just stop that there. So if I get the time this week, which might be, this is going to be a busy week. These are all very, very temporary at the moment, and I'm not happy with that one. That one needs some alteration to it. The end of it is a misprint as well, so I just need to get another one of those printed and swap that over. So the positioning of that might just change a little bit, and I can work on the track, and then we can get that all sorted out. I'm happy with the supports on the bridge, and then from there it's going to swing around here, but it's just picking our way around and getting that sorted. So I think that's going to be quite interesting. So let's give that a little more power, and let's put it on the other platform while we're here. A little bit more of a jump into life than I was expecting there. Let's give that. There we go. Let's see if we can switch these points here, and then we'll send that backwards and just pop that back onto the station. Careful we don't run out of the end there, so I think if we seal that into there we go, and let's unisolate the blue Pullman there. So I think we'll just finish off. We'll get this one here, this switch there that hasn't been installed. That will give me control over the blue Pullman, he says, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. So we've got control there, but I just need to switch some points so we don't derail as we come around. So what we've got to do is this one, so that needs to go straight, and I'm going to make that one. Sorry, I'm looking what I'm doing and not pointing the camera. So I think if we get the Silver King underway, and then we'll get the blue Pullman, we'll see how we do. So let's see if that'll behave itself. And let's see if we can send the blue Pullman underway as she comes to the station here. Lovely sound from those wheels. Silver King tearing around the outside there. My shadow in the picture again. So it's very disconcerting. I've got the controls of the Pullman in my hand, but I'm looking at the Silver King. Let's bring the Pullman to a gentle stop at the station here, and let that wonderful looking streamlined locomotive run off. And we'll give that a bit of power now. And they should both sort of come through the station together. That's a lovely shot, I think. It's quite satisfying when that happens. But I think that's probably it for this week. If you look back next time, we'll see if we can have something else interesting to have a look at. Goodbye now.